the electrics is nearly complete on this van now. So I had to purchase the fridge so I could build the framework around it, because I didn't want a rail going across the top of it because it makes the bench higher, and it's quite high anyway. So I like to purchase it, sit in position, and then check that everything's going to work before I build the framework. So in this case, if I just done it by the manufacturer's dimensions on the product specification before I bought it, and then fitted it, I would have realised that the door opens wider than the unit, so I would have had to move my framework over. But by ordering it first, putting it in there, I built my framework to it. So I've already got this. It already comes wired with enough wire to reach my fuse board, which is good. The only thing is I'm just going to cut the cable and put a plug on it. So if I've got to remove this for servicing, if I need to remove it for any reason, I can just unplug it and pull it out. I already have my water pump and my water heater, but I'm not going to fit them yet because I don't have all the pipe works. I'm not quite ready to fit the kitchen, so once I do that, I'll do it all together. I am going to run the cables, however, and I have got the products already. So you need to obviously work out what size cable, which you can do by dividing the watts by 12 volts, and then the number will be the amps, and then you do it by how many amps your cable's rated, and then go higher. Or your cable, or whatever your fuse is, you just go the next amperage up of cable, because basically you don't ever want your cable overheating because it can cause fires. So your fuse will protect your cables and your unit, so as long as you've got the right size cable. So for this one I don't need to order any cable, but my water pump, however, is a 16 AWG, which is American, so we're going to convert it to millimeters because we're in the UK, which works out at 1.29 millimeters squared. But we don't have that size cable, we have 1.5, so I'll run a 1.5 from the water pump there, and I know I'm definitely good enough there on my cable size. The water heater actually comes in 2.5 mil. Most of the products I'm buying is an AWG, maybe because America has a bigger market and a lot of stuff's produced in China. I don't know why most of it is AWG, but it is, probably for that reason I just said. So I just need to get 2.5 millimeter cable for my water heater. Instead of working out the watts, I just see the cable that's coming out of the unit, and then if that cable is wired into the unit by the manufacturer, then that size cable is going to be sufficient. So I've ordered them 2 pieces of cable now because I've run out of 1.5 mil, and I'm going to plug this in, and then I can wire it to my fuse board. And then I've actually used Amazon to get my wires. They'll come today, and I'll wire these ready to go to fit my units. And there's one last thing I need to do, which I forgot to do, was run a cable for a TV. Now, I imagine it's going to be over there yet. Haven't bought it yet. I'm not quite sure on the watts. I think they're normally about 40 watts max on the size. I'm not too sure, just trying to find that out. But I got 1.5 mil cable to run that. That should be enough to do that. So yeah, I ordered a bit of 1.5 for my water pump, 2.5 for my water heater, and then the 1.5 is enough to do to the TV, which I don't know where I'm going to put it yet, so that's a job for today to figure out. But for now, I'm going to get this plugged, done, and then wired into the fuse board, and then yeah, I might start trying to route my cable for my TV and figuring out where I'm going to put that. Now all this woodwork's been varnished, I can fit this switch panel. So all the single positives, I will be using just a single plug on here, because each individual line will have its own plug, and then the positive and neutral will have a double plug which plugs into the unit, because all the negatives are in a buzz bar up there, so it's only the lives here that we plug in. All the plugs are on now, so we've got our positive and negative here, which is our main feed, and then all the little lines have got individual plugs, and I've labelled them too. I've actually ordered some stickers for these, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. I've only got 3 lines I'm able to make live at the moment. This one is a spare cable. It's not spare, it's going to be for something else, but I writ spare on it. And then there's a cable here which hasn't got a use yet, but we've got 5 switches, so I've put a cable in, which runs up here. Potentially going to put a floodlight out on the side of the van, if I can get one. I'm sure you can. So that's that. So yeah, I've got 1, 2 and 3 at the moment, so I'm going to plug these into the corresponding plugs. I've pre-drilled my holes because it's thin timber, I don't want it to split. So I'm going to plug that in and then screw it back. One other thing to note is, because this is a small cavity, I've twisted all these round and tucked them, all the fuse blocks in between the cables, so they're not behind it now, they're in between to get that a bit more tighter. So I'm going to plug it all in. I'll probably start with these 1, 2 and 3. They're a bit longer. And then we tuck all these plugs in. Then we can connect our feed. Don't know if you noticed, but the lights come on then, so it should already be switched on by the looks of it. That one is, probably because I had it upside down. So there you can see now it's reading our voltage. It also has 2 USBs and a cigarette lighter plug type one. Really happy to get this one done. Because I've been charging my phone round the back, so I have to keep reaching over. I also have a 12-volt radio which plugs into the USB, so now I can have these both in this front part while I'm working, and I can also switch all my lights on. That's just them 3 at the moment. I found this awning light and it fits just above the door nicely. I've just got to wire it into this, just wire the plug up, and then I'll have to connect it into this switch here. I think that was going to be that one or this one, either or. And I've also run a cable for my TV. So the conduit's here. It was a bit of a nightmare getting it. Well, I couldn't actually get it through here. It just wouldn't go through. So I had to put another little bit of conduit across here and into this little cavity here, behind here. Then the other conduit comes back over here as well, so joint back into it there. It was a bloody nightmare getting it in, but I got it done. And it's there, ready for my TV. I just added another cable in for a USB on the other side of the bed. I've run the cable for existing conduit behind the board. There's also a conduit for the solar panel, which runs up here, so I've joined into that. And then I've come out here, where I've gone into a mini conduit across the top of the door frame, down this pillar, and then it comes across here. The cable's finally there, in position of this switch panel, USB control panel. Down here, we have a 3mm cable for the water heater. We have a 2.5mm cable for the diesel heater, and then we have a 1.5mm cable for our pump. Now the pump has a flow switch inside, so when it feels water moving, it will kick in. So I'm going to put a switch here so we can turn this off when we're not using it. Reason being is if you've got a dripping tap, your pump might kick in the middle of the night. You don't want to do that while you're sleeping. Another reason is if there's a leak, now the pump is going to kick in and make the leak worse. So if we can turn that off, we can isolate the water and we can fix it. I won't be wiring up any of these appliances in this video. I'll be doing them in the videos on each appliance. So the pump and water heater will be in the plumbing video, and the diesel heater will be in a separate video. The only thing I might do is just wire up this control panel in this video, but I'll need to finish this cupboard first, or at least the cladding on the front of here, the same as what I've done on the other side, which is here. I don't actually need the USB on this side because there is one below, and I can just drill a hole in the bottom of the cupboard to drop my cable through. I don't need to access the panel, just need a cable there to plug in my phone. I just wired up the 12-volt cigarette lighter socket. So it comes with these cables, and it does have ring terminals and a fuse in line, but I cut it off before the fuse and I put a plug on, and then I'm obviously going to have a fuse in my main fuse board. And here's my feed, and you just have this little tightening ring. So I've drilled a little hole here, just outside, right near where the TV is going to be, and I'll thread that through there, tighten it up, and then I'll plug it in, and then that will be my TV supply done. I just need to wire it into the fuse box. This is the last thing I'm going to be covering in this video. It's just a 12-volt supply with a cigarette lighter, USB, 2 USB-Cs, and it also has a voltmeter. I've wired up the plugs like I have everything else, so it's easy to disconnect and mess around with it if you need be. And it also fits in that little slot really well, so once I've put the panel across there, that will go on there, and then that'll be job done. And that will also be, the electric's pretty much complete. There's another job that I want to do, which is this LED strip light. I'm going to move it down here. This was originally in the van on the ceiling, so we needed to do the ceiling, so I just stuck them on here just to keep it safe and so it doesn't lose its stick, although I will stick some more double-side tape on that. So yeah, I just want to get some channels to go on here to stick it in, just so it doesn't get stuck to the wood or leave any residue or pull the varnish off, because they don't last forever. They will need to be changed. Now that the panelling's done, I fitted the USB outlet. I just need to wire it into the fuse board, and then that's job done. And that pretty much wraps up the wiring on this project. I do need to wire up the water pump and the water heater, but they will be part of the plumbing video, so I'm not going to do that in this video. And there will be a separate video on the diesel heater, which is already wired in. I just need to wire it into the fuse board. Thank you for watching my video, and if you found it helpful, please like this video and please subscribe to my channel. I'll be bringing out more videos on the rest of the build until this job is completed. I've got about a week left until we're going on a trip, so there won't be a full completion video for a few months, because when I get back then I'll complete any other jobs that need doing, which will be windows in the back, windows in the side door, and just tidying up the little bits and bobs that need doing. But for now, I'm just trying to get this van usable and on the road for a week's time, which is a bit of a short deadline, but as long as it's operational, I'll be happy.